Hello everybody. So this is the completion of the 1,000 round review for this 10.5 inch Palmetto State Armory AR pistol. So before we get into talking about this, let's take a little trip down memory lane of a bunch of the shooting, some of the shooting video that I got while using this thing over the past few weeks. So, 1,020 rounds total. It's held up actually really well, surprisingly well, considering some of the reputation of this brand. So, starting at the front, I want to tell you a few things that I really like about it, and some things that I am highly disappointed about. So, for the people that are like Palmetto State is life, you probably, I guess get your troll buttons ready, because there's a few things bad I have to say about this. But starting out, I do like this flash can. I don't like how the can, this flash can goes inside of the railing here, inside of the rail, because it makes it so you can't use that last piece of M-lock there. But I do like it because I believe that between this polished trigger and this, blowing all the gases and fire and everything out the front is what makes it so controllable to use. It pushes right back into your shoulder, real nice, very controllable, very easy to pop off rounds very quickly and accurately as well. The rail itself, the handguard itself, I like. I prefer key mod. It is what it is. I know there's a bunch of people that are going to shit on me about the key mod, but I like key mod. All my other rifles have key mod on it, so I will likely eventually change this to key mod. But I do like the rail is held up nicely. There's no major flaws in it. It's been dropped and bumped around and carried through the desert and all that. No major wear on it, so it's held up really nicely. I put the BCM hand stop on there, super comfortable. The barrel for 1,000 rounds, I did get it hot a few times. Barrel is no discoloring or anything like that, so I am pleased with that. The gas block, from what I can tell, is still in the same place it was in. I did try to put a screwdriver in there and move the gas block, and I could not. And I did that because on a Palmetto State Armory Facebook page that I am now banned from, which we'll get into in a minute, a guy had like 100 rounds through it and it was just sliding back and forth. So I did check that. It seems to be tight. The upper is fine. The upper is an upper. It's just a mil-spec generic, El Cheapo upper with just a mil-spec. I mean, it's like a Carpenter 158 bolt carrier group and bolt in it. They've held up okay. The cam pin has a little bit of wear on it that I'm maybe a little uncomfortable with, and I'm going to keep an eye on. That is a higher wear above and beyond the rest of the bolt carrier group, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I can catch my fingernail on it a little bit. Maybe not good. Let's take a look at it before I tear it apart. A little bit of shining there. The bolt face doesn't look bad. A little bit of shining there. All the normal places. That hasn't come loose. A little bit of shining in all the normal places you would think of. Let's tear it down. 1,000 rounds with no cleaning. Here's the firing pin. Doesn't look like there's any deformation on the firing pin. Maybe just a little tiny bit, but not bad. Nothing on the firing pin head. Striking surface. And the body of it doesn't seem scarred up or anything. Some pretty heavy wear on the cam. I mean, there's some real shiny spots on this thing. More than what I think there should be, at least. Yeah, actually, I can feel that with my thumb. That's not carbon. I can feel the wear with my thumb, so that's concerning. And the bolt. The bolt is not cracked. The gas rings are intact. Everything looks pretty good on the bolt. The lower is where probably the most problems ended up. The lower houses a pretty decent trigger. This is a polished mil-spec trigger. I do like that they put an extra room where they put this drop-down trigger guard on it. I do like that because I shoot in gloves all the time, and I got big fat fingers. But I do like that polished trigger. It's real smooth. I have a gauge, but I don't care about it. It's got a nice smooth action and a smooth reset, but it's definitely a mil-spec trigger. I don't like the grip. I'm gonna change the grip. That's fine. I said that in the first one. As I mentioned in the first one as well, the buffer tube and lower, how they meet up. Oh, Jesus. See, I still can't get this out without clamping it together. You mean to tell me I don't have a spare bullet just laying around here somewhere? So using this Allen wrench, I gotta push the upper and lower together. There we go. Looks like I may have to take a little bit more out. So the buffer tube was sticking through the receiver too far. But not far enough to where if I took one rotation out in order to bring it back, that it was okay because it was letting loose of the buffer detent, the holder there. So I had to sand it off. This was essentially a non-functioning firearm when I bought it because this was such a big gap in there. It wasn't that big, but it was such a big gap that before the magnifier was on there, I would have to like really clamp it down and then hammer this pin back in order for the two to fit together. Now it just catches a little bit and I can get it in. I just have a hard time getting it out. I could almost not cycle it by hand when I got the gun, and mind you, this was one piece, not like I put this together. I could barely cycle it because the carrier was hitting the buffer tube and scraping along the inside of it. So I know that they didn't test fire this when they got it put together. I fixed it, seemingly fixed it, and it has run great since. So I mean, yay for that. It has run great after I fixed a pretty major quality problem. Front to back, I like it. This is the third firearm that I've purchased from Primary Arms. I bought their AR Freedom a few years ago, and it had some functioning problems. It had some feeding issues unless it was soaking wet. Unless the bolt was soaked, it wouldn't feed really for crap. I ended up selling it almost as soon as I got it, and then the GB2, which I did a review on, the AK, the PSAK GB2, AK-47 GB2. I really liked that gun. I really liked that gun. Had it for a little while, and then sold it to somebody that needed it worse than I did. Being the third one, two of which has had issues, I'll probably never spend my money on another Palmetto State Armory firearm. Not that this was that big a deal, not that in the AR Freedom rifle that I had before wasn't easily managed, not that the quality problems there wasn't easily managed, but it was how they dealt with it. When I talked to one of the, pretty much the higher up in Palmetto State Armory on a PSA Facebook group, I was harassed about it, pretty much told to, if I don't like it, leave, and then banned from the page. And then in turn, I was on another PSA page and ended up having to block that person. So that was how they handled this situation. And it is because of that that I will never purchase another product from them. I've bought 3 rifles, 3 guns. Sorry, I know you guys are going to kill me for calling this a rifle. Bought 3 guns off of them, probably 40 magazines, and that was the response that I got to their mistake. That is unfortunate because I do like this. I do like this once I got it working right. So there you go. 1,020 rounds. It's still together, and I will probably keep it for a very long time or until it breaks. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Don't forget to check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel. That is patreon.com, RTTGunsGear, /RTTGunsGear. Also, if you want to support the channel and you like some of the stuff that I have bolted to my rifles and all my kit and things that you've seen in the past, go to RTTGunsGear.com and you will find all kinds of Amazon affiliate links. Some of them are really, really good prices actually on the stuff. So thank you for listening. Check it out. I mean, maybe you have better luck than I do, but check it out from Palmetto State Armory, the 10.5-inch AR pistol. Thanks for listening.